It started with an invitation, a kind gesture, at least that is what she thought. A mother new to the neighborhood, hoping to bond with other parents on the 4th of July. Instead, she ended up sobbing in the car, humiliated in front of her children and driven away by people who treated her like a criminal. The internet quickly rallied around her, and when you hear what happened, you will understand why. Let's get into it. This mother does not share her real name, but she runs a TikTok account focused on folk medicine remedies. On the 4th of July, she posted a video where she was visibly upset, red-eyed, tearful, and speaking through sobs. She said she had just walked out of a neighborhood party where she had been humiliated and treated in the worst possible way, right in front of her kids. She explained that the mother of her son's best friend had invited her to a 4th of July celebration happening in their new neighborhood. She had just moved in and thought this would be a great way to get to know people and start building connection. Wanting to make a good impression, she did not come empty-handed. She made a fresh antipasto salad and brought along a bottle of wine. She dressed nicely and brought both her son and his best friend, who had spent the night at her house the day before. Her intention was simple: show gratitude for the invitation and hopefully make some new friends in the process. When she arrived, she walked into the house with her son's friend and his mom, the one who had invited her. She did not know anyone else there, but she entered the home with polite confidence. She walked into the kitchen holding a homemade antipasto salad and a bottle of wine. She smiled, made eye contact, and tried to introduce herself to the people she saw. She was genuinely trying to be friendly and respectful, making sure she doesn't come across as rude or intrusive.
So I was invited to a 4th of July party the other day by my son's best friend's mother. And I thought it was possibly like a family party or just like a neighborhood party or something, because it's like a road in the woods kind of thing where they're at the end, and then her mother and her uncle and then like a couple other houses. But I don't know anybody. I'm new to this area. I just moved 1,000 miles away to be here. And so I made an antipasto salad, like this big gorgeous salad, and I asked, is there anything you want me to bring? Thank you so much. I was so gracious. I kept reiterating that. Thank you so much for like inviting me. I don't know anybody here, like and I get there and the kids get out and I grab the antipasto and I brought one beer with me because I was only going to drink one beer because I don't know, like I have kids to drive home. Honestly, never been treated like this before, and I can't like imagine like having a party at your house and treating a guest like this, even if like maybe it was a surprise. I don't know. So I walk into the house with my son's friend's mom, and I'm carrying the salad and I have my beer, and I just wanted to put the salad down and chat and introduce myself to everybody.
Then, without warning, the homeowner's husband, Jake, walked right past her. He did not say a word, just gave her a cold glare and stormed out the door. He was confusing and a little uncomfortable, but she brushed it off. Maybe he was just busy or stressed. She did not want to assume anything negative, so she continued standing in the kitchen, trying to hold a casual conversation with a few people around. Just a few minutes later, Stacia, the homeowner and host, came in. Her voice was sharp and defensive from the start. She immediately confronted the mother, accusing her of walking into someone's home without permission. She said her husband had been outside, upset and panicking because a stranger had walked into their home. The mother was stunned. She had been invited, and the woman who invited her, her son's friend's mom, was standing right there. That woman quickly stepped in and told Stacia that she had absolutely informed them about her guest, that she had mentioned it ahead of time. But even with that clarification, Stacia couldn't back down. She kept her voice firm, repeating that the mother shouldn't have been in the house. At that moment, it became painfully clear that the mother wasn't welcome. The warmth and friendliness she had hoped for was nowhere to be found. Instead, the air turned tense and cold. The energy shifted completely. From that point forward, it felt like she was being pushed out without anyone saying it directly. Feeling completely unwanted, the mother stepped outside with her son, trying to hold back tears. As they stepped onto the porch, it felt like walking into a wall of judgment. Everyone sitting there turned their heads to glare at her, like she had done something terribly wrong. Their expressions weren't confused or curious, they were cold and unwelcome. It was like the whole porch had silently agreed that she did not belong. No one greeted her, no one smiled. Instead, one person looked her straight in the eyes and said with a cutting tone, "Welcome to the neighborhood. See you later."
And I guess the homeowner's name is Stasia, and her husband, I don't even know who he was. He walked by me kind of angry and like ignored me, but I was like trying to introduce myself to everybody. And her uncle, my son's friend's mom's uncle and mother were there, and they were the ones doing the fireworks, and they had like 500 rounds. And I'm just chatting, not even 5 minutes in the door, and somebody walks in the house and is like, "Are you going to introduce yourself to somebody? Like, it's really rude to walk into somebody's house and not introduce yourself." He's absolutely flipping out outside about some stranger. And I was like so confused. I looked like a deer caught in headlights because I thought I was invited. And even the mother that like invited me, she was like, "What in the world?" Like, I mentioned that she was coming. Like, okay. So, and I was like, "I'm really sorry. I don't even know whose house this is." And the girl goes, "Exactly. You shouldn't be in here." And I was like, okay. So I walk outside, and when I get out on the porch, the girl Stasia I introduced myself to, it wouldn't even look at me. She turned herself looking away on the porch, and there's all these people just angrily looking at me and like nasty. And one guy was like, "Welcome to the neighborhood. See you later." And I was like, okay. So I just dumped my beer out, and I was just like, I was totally distraught. And like, I've never been treated like that. Like, I left the salad for them. It was like probably a $40 salad. I used all the really nice Italian cut meats and like all the vegetables from my yard. I just wanted to make a good impression. And like, this is why you don't make friends in your 30s, because this, like, people are so nasty. And like, I literally didn't mean to intrude. I thought I was I feel absolutely horrible because I ruined my kids' 4th of July. And like, I feel like that was so unwarranted. I feel like it was just so nasty the way I was treated, and the way that they just kind of gave like a bunch of strangers just like was standing on the porch looking at me like I was like this horrible piece of shit. "Welcome to the neighborhood. See you later." Fuck you. Like, that hurt. I'm like shaking right now. I'm thinking of shaking. I don't even know how to. The mother felt so bad. She was like, "Please," she's like, "just follow me down to the driveway." And like, I took her kid with me because the kid wanted to come with me and was like, "I'm not staying here." Like, I was like, "I'm so sorry." Like, I couldn't stop apologizing. And her mother, the kid's grandmother, came with her down, and they were like, "Just follow us down to the house." They gave me a whole garbage bag full of freaking fireworks, and were like, "I'm so sorry. I can't believe you were treated like that." Like, I told them I was like just a deer caught in a headlight. I didn't even know how to react. And they like, I was like, "You don't have to give me fireworks." And she's like, I can't believe you were treated like that." Oh, people are so nasty.
The words were dripping with sarcasm, making it clear they did not mean it at all. She had bought food, wine, and good intentions, but now she couldn't even carry them back to her seat. She couldn't even carry them back to her car. She left the salad and wine behind, not wanting to stay a second longer. Her heart felt heavy, and tears started to slip down her face as she walked away. Her son's friend's mom and the grandmother followed her outside. They were clearly embarrassed and upset by what had just happened. They handed her some fireworks, maybe as a peace offering, maybe just to let her know that not everyone there agreed with how she was treated. They both apologized over and over, trying to make her feel better. Her son, just a kid, hugged her tightly and whispered, "It's not your fault, Mom." Even he could see what had happened. Even a child could recognize bullying when he saw it. That hug from her son meant everything in that moment. It reminded her that while the grown-ups had failed to show basic kindness, her child still had compassion. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. This was a public humiliation. Done in front of her child meant to hurt her deeply, and it did. Back in her car, she pulled out her phone, hands still shaking, and hit record. No filters, no script, just raw emotion. Through tears, she explained what had just happened. The way she had been humiliated in front of her son, treated like an outsider when all she had done was show up after being invited. She said this was the worst experience she'd ever had. Her voice cracked as she talked about how she tried so hard to do everything right. She brought food, wine, and a smile, hoping to be part of something. She wanted her son to have a fun day. Instead, she was made to feel like she did not belong, like she was invisible, or worse, a threat. The video struck a nerve. It spread fast. TikTok saw it, and people immediately jumped to her defense. Comment sections filled with messages of support, sympathy, and shared outrage. People were angry on her behalf, and in just a few days, her quiet account about folk medicine remedies exploded. Her follower count jumped past 2,000. Total strangers sent her kind messages, shared their own experiences, and made sure she knew she wasn't alone. In a follow-up video, she showed screenshots of texts from the woman who had invited her. That woman apologized again, saying she had told the hosts she was coming and that she deeply regretted what happened. She begged the mom not to let this ruin the kids' friendship and reassured her that the situation did not reflect who she was. The mother also shared that she did not even know the full names of the people who kicked her out, just Jake and Stacia. That's all TikTok needed.
So I know I don't look gorgeous today. My eyes are so swollen. I literally am allergic to my own tears. That's why I don't like crying. This is like as much as I can get my eyes open right now. But with that being said, I want to thank everybody because I've been trying to get into the Creators Rewards program since I started on TikTok. And I've been on Facebook for about 10 years writing. And this really unfortunate incident pushed me into the above 10,000 followers, and I'm really thankful for that, and I'm so thankful for all the support you've all given me. I can't even begin to explain how much love I feel, and thank you, because I really needed it. I still haven't even talked to my best friend who's like 1,000 miles away. She's been working the casino track and stuff for the last week so that she can come down and visit, and I felt really alone, and you guys have all made me feel really special, so thank you, and I really appreciate you. I also know that you guys want to see an update of what the friend's mom said, so I'm gonna show you the screenshots of the text messages. It is what it is. I feel like it was a weird response, honestly, but it is what it is. One good thing out of it is I met all you guys.
The internet did what it does best, and within hours, they found them. It did not take long before TikTok sleuths found Stacia's account. Her comments were flooded with people demanding answers, and then came the apology video. But instead of apologizing, Stacia tried to justify her behavior. She said it wasn't a party, just a gathering of friends, and she said they did not know the woman, so they panicked. She said things like, "I'm not a mean person," and "we just didn't know who she was." But if that were true, why didn't they just ask politely? Why did they not handle it with maturity? Instead, they kicked her out in front of her child, in front of everyone. Stacia's video did not help her case. She deleted it shortly after posting, but not before it was screen recorded and saved by multiple people. In the video, instead of taking full responsibility or showing true regret, she gave mixed signals that only made things worse. She started off by saying that the mom could have stayed at the party, as if she had done nothing wrong. But then, in the same breath, she said they did not want her in the house. That contradiction alone was enough to make people question her sincerity. She said her husband had called the mom to apologize, but then accused the mom of refusing the apology and twisting the situation for internet attention, claiming she only wanted to grow her TikTok following.
I am not a mean person. My husband is not a mean person. We are not mean people. Neither is my mother-in-law. We simply did not know who this person was that come into our house unannounced to not a party. Let's clarify, this was not a party. This was a get-together of people who knew each other, okay? And just because we didn't know her doesn't mean that she couldn't have stayed and hung out. We just didn't want her in our house, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. So to you people that are getting on TikTok and all my social medias, first of all, or my husband's or my mother-in-law's, so forth, so on, and trying to bully us, I don't care. I really don't. Because you don't know the story, you weren't here, and for you to feel like you have to be behind the phone to bully somebody else that you don't even know about, that says a lot about you, not me. And one more thing. We did apologize. My husband did call her directly and apologize to her, and she didn't want to accept that answer, okay? She didn't want to accept that we were sorry, that we hurt her feelings. She wanted to get on TikTok and use it to her advantage and try to make us look like bad people and then have half the world or so forth, so on, hate us too.
The tone of her video felt dismissive, like she was more annoyed by the backlash than truly sorry for the humiliation they caused. She did not seem to understand how deeply her actions had affected this mother, or worse, she understood and just did not care. Instead of owning up to what had happened, she tried to shift the blame and make herself the victim. It was more gaslighting than anything else, and people saw through it instantly. The comments were filled with viewers pointing out her contradictions, lack of empathy, and defensive tone. Her apology wasn't seen as genuine. It looked like damage control. Too little, too late. Jake called the mother, and she recorded the entire call for her own protection and to make sure the truth was shared. At first, he sounded somewhat apologetic. He said he was sorry and did not mean to make her feel bad. He claimed he just did not know who she was. But then he added something that only made it worse. He said they thought she was just dropping off the kids. That comment made the situation even more offensive, because what mother would ever drop off her child at a stranger's house without walking in to meet the adults present? And if she truly wasn't welcome, why wasn't that mentioned before she showed up? If there was a boundary about people entering the house, wouldn't it make sense to kindly communicate that before assuming the worst?
All right. Who is this?
This is Jay.
This is who?
Jake.
Oh, okay. So I can barely hear you. You're like muffled. Okay. Hello, Jake.
Hey, nothing was meant yesterday by the way it sounded. The only reason I come into the house is because I didn't know who you was, and I feel like it would have been the same at your house. Like, you don't want to leave your house for somebody you don't know.
Let me interject for a second. It wouldn't have been that way. I don't treat people like that, and the way I was treated was completely irreparable. I'm sorry, but there is no excuse for the way that you spoke, or not you spoke to me, but the whole entire situation went down. I would never do that.
We just wanted you to come outside.
So why didn't you just say that, or why didn't you introduce yourself? You were literally in the kitchen. I didn't know whose house I was at. I was just coming to a party I was invited to with 2 small children.
I mean, I didn't know that. Nobody told me nothing about it.
But that's not true, because I just spoke to Samantha, and she just told me that you guys were 100% aware that I was coming.
Who said you were coming to drop the kids off?
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, I'm not trying to call nothing. I mean, I don't know why I'm waking up to death threats.
I spoke my truth. I write online. I actually have a big following on Facebook, not too much on TikTok. It's a little bit bigger now. And I spoke my truth. I vented about being hurt about the situation, and I said exactly what happened. And that's it. And people found you guys.
But do you feel like that's...
Yes, I have every right. I have every right to speak my opinion and how I feel I was treated. Yes. Do I think that people should be attacking you? Absolutely not. I did not send anybody your way. I didn't even know your name until this morning when people found you. So, I mean, you can sit here and tell me that you can turn it around on me and act like I did something wrong, but I didn't.
Nobody. I just called to say I'm sorry you got that the wrong way. Nobody wanted y'all to leave. I mean, we knew the kids.
Whoa. I'm going to time you out there right now, Bob. Because I'm going to say this. I'm Chris, by the way. And I'm going to say this right now. The way your mother came at my wife hot like that, just being a wretched human being, that's unacceptable. That is not very Christian-like behavior. And I'm going to tell you right now that no matter where I've ever been in my life, in every state that I've lived in, nobody treats anybody like that. That's unacceptable. It's just trash behavior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm sorry that you took that the wrong way.
Yeah.
There was no other way to take it.
There really was no other way to take it. And I hope you enjoyed your salad. And it was very unpleasant to meet you guys. Have a good weekend.
It was clear that Jake's words did not add up. The mother had been invited. She walked in with food and her kids. There was no reason to assume she was uninvited or dangerous. And by suggesting they only expected her to drop off the children, Jake revealed something even worse. They never intended to include her. That is when her husband stepped in and got on the phone. Calmly but firmly, he introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Chris." Right away, Chris showed the very manners that had been missing from Jake and Stacia the entire time. He let Jake know that what had happened to his wife was not okay. He said he was not only rude and disrespectful, but also went against basic Christian values and human decency. Jake tried to explain it all away. He said it was just a big misunderstanding, but at that point, the apology felt empty. The pain was already done, and a phone call wasn't going to fix what had already hurt so deeply. To clear up the confusion and defend herself against the growing lies being spread, the mother posted a video where she stitched a phone call with Samantha, the woman who had invited her to the party in the first place. This was the moment many viewers had been waiting for. Direct clarification from the person at the center of the invitation. Samantha, calm but clearly upset, confirmed everything. She said she had told Jake and Stacia ahead of time that the mother was coming. Not only did she tell them, but she also showed them a photo of the antipasto salad the mother was bringing. She made it clear that this wasn't a surprise visit, it was planned and known. Samantha admitted she wished she had done more once the mom arrived. She said maybe she should have stood up more or introduced her family to everyone at the door, but she confessed that she had a bit of social anxiety and sometimes struggles with moments like that. Still, she said she felt responsible and truly heartbroken for how everything turned out. That was the final confirmation. The hosts had known that she was coming. They weren't caught off guard. They weren't confused. They made a choice, and that choice was to embarrass her, to treat her like she did not belong, like she was disposable. And now, even with the truth out, they were trying to twist the story to save face. But Samantha's voice, honest and clear, exposed it all. This wasn't just about a misunderstanding. It was about something deeper. It was about how we treat others, how quick people are to judge, exclude and humiliate someone who simply wanted to belong, especially when that someone is a mother trying to create memories for her child, especially when she is a newcomer, vulnerable, and just looking for a bit of warmth. That woman did not come to cause problems. She came with love, a home cooked salad, and a bottle of wine. She came with kindness and a willingness to connect. What she walked away with wasn't just a ruined evening. She walked away with a broken heart, a son who had to witness his mom be mistreated, and a deep scar from an experience that never should have happened. But in the middle of all that pain, something beautiful happened. TikTok did not just hear her story, they felt it. People she had never met stood up for her. Strangers became supporters, viewers became friends, and the love she did not receive in that doorstep came pouring in from across the internet. What the party lacked in grace and sympathy, the internet made up for with open arms and loud voices. They reminded her and all of us that decency still exists, that kindness matters, and that sometimes the worst moments can reveal the best in others. Let us know what you think in the comments. Did this mom deserve better, or were the hosts just being cautious? Was it a true misunderstanding or something more telling? Subscribe if you want more real life stories that make you think, feel, and maybe even speak up.